She is a certified intimacy coach and the author of the book, The Secrets to Get the Guy and Keep the Guy. And Stacey Murphy, how are you on this glorious Saturday?
I'm doing fabulous. Thank you very much for having me.
So this whole thing about politics, why would that enter into a relationship to begin with? Why would that not be something that at least be kept to yourself down the road to find out whether or not you two may be compatible on so many other levels as opposed to just on a political level?
Well, it really comes down to, that's a fabulous question, but it really comes down to values as well as compatibility. And when it comes, as you can see with politics, it's also very emotional, right? So what happens is, in order to have peace and harmony within a relationship, it's about kind of aligning your values, what you're thinking, your beliefs, and what you support. And so for some people, it's extremely important, and for other people, it's not. So you have to get on the same page where that's concerned in order for you to move forward with the relationship.
Well, when you go on some of these sites like Match.com and, I don't know, Harmony, eHarmony or whatever it is, and you fill out the questionnaire, and they list things like that, and they'll list political affiliation or you're Democrat, Republican. I found it interesting that the majority of Democrats, 42% is a large number, would just say, not dating that guy, don't care how good looking it is, don't care how stunning she may be. 24% of Republicans are saying, well, you know what? No, they're out if they're a Democrat. But that would tell me that 75% would say, well, okay, it doesn't matter to me. Am I reading the math right here?
You definitely are. And I even have personal experience with this because for several years I dated someone who was in a different political party. And for people to understand, like, why is it so different for Democrats and Republicans? And kind of think about it this way. A lot of Democrats, there's always exceptions to the rule, but they really lead with, like, social, heart-centered issues, regardless of their economic status, right? Whereas with Republicans, with them, the economic status actually can play a factor in their decisions. For example, maybe the top 1%, they vote with their wallet. And that literally was my particular situation, right? My partner, he voted with his wallet, even though he was socially more liberal. And so you have to really understand, but there are ways in which you can make it very successful. But that's some of the stuff that can be behind that.
So as you're going through this relationship with this guy, I'm sure you're talking about a multitude of other things. Were you not connecting on all of those things? And was that, I suppose, the political disconnect, was that the thing that actually broke you up?
Actually, that wasn't what broke us up, interestingly enough. And, when I tell people the secret to making something like this work, there's like 4 key things. So the first thing that we had, and I encourage other people if they want to go in this direction, is the first thing is about having respect. Right? We respected each other, and to really understand why. Right? So in the very beginning, we didn't talk about politics. We were like really in alignment in all different areas. But then when we got into that subject, I was like, okay, why? I just asked why, and that's when he explained that he votes with his wallet, right? And so when you understand why they do what they do, then you can put it in proper perspective. And then the other thing is, the second thing to that is we had agreements. Right, we were very clear with our boundaries, what was off the table to talk about and what was okay to talk about, and that is why we didn't get into political arguments. We never got into a political argument, but in order to have those agreements, it requires that the couple have good communication. And we can also see how difficult it is for people to communicate with each other. So this is why I also teach that in everything I do. My coaching and teaching is really having effective communication, because we instituted what I call the 30-minute rule. So if you're talking about something volatile like politics, if it's not going anywhere in 30 minutes, just kind of agree to disagree and then table it and then come back at another time to that conversation, and things of that nature. And then the last part would be acceptance, right? Honor your partner versus trying to control your partner or change your partner. And so that's a way for you to be successful when you're having these, what you call interpolitical relationships.
Sure. Yeah.
is what I call it. Yeah.
Sure. Well, I think the last point you made was one that should apply for everything in any relationship, whether you're married, dating, whatever it may be, is respect the fact that if you're trying to change somebody, they're probably not worth the effort to begin with. You shouldn't try and change anyone. They are who they are, and all the work that goes into it, unless there's some fabulous reward at the end of it, probably isn't going to be worth it.
You're absolutely right. And that's one of the hardest things that people is really to lock onto. It's by honoring your partner, you're accepting them. And everybody wants to be accepted, right? And so kind of think about, you want to be accepted. So if this is the person you want in your life, they are rocking it in all other areas of your life, but you have different political philosophies. It's one of those things where as long as you have the agreements and you know what your boundaries are, it can still work. Yeah. It can definitely still work.
Stacey, by the way, offers classes and coaching through her love and intimacy school, the Vixen Academy. That sounds like a very intriguing place. Who attends the Vixen Academy?
Well, I primarily work with professional women who really are where I teach them how to be strong, feminine, and seductive in the presence of high-quality men. So these ladies can step into their queen status so they can attract their king, so they can have a juicy and joyful relationship that stands the test of time. So those are the ladies that I primarily work with in my Vixen world. So it's a lot of fun, and it's really juicy.
What would 101 be like in the Vixen Academy? How would that work? What is like the first course you teach in the Vixen Academy? Because I would like to think, now this may come as a shock to you, Stacey, but I'm a man. I would like to think that I would be someone that you would be grooming one of these women to meet. What would 101 be? What would be like the first entry level course?
Well, the first thing that I do, I have several different ones, but the first thing that I teach in every course that I have is you start with self-worth, right? Because that is how you value yourself. And then how you value yourself as an individual is how your partner will value you. And that is the most important first step in anything, because look at our society. If we valued who we were, we would actually be kinder to each other. So, with the Love Goddess, that's what I teach them, as well as in Manifest Your Man. And another spicy one that's a little bit more of an intro is my Spoiled Girlfriend program, which is pretty much the art of receiving, being open to receiving. And it's on so many different levels, and not just materially. It's about being open to receiving with your time, your attention, your love, and emotional connection. And so that is the playground or the sandbox that I play with my clients and students, so that they can have really empowering relationships, which is something that is being evaluated or reevaluated, especially in this time that we're dealing with the political stuff as well as with health and the virus stuff. So relationships are really in the spotlight right now.
Yeah, you obviously know more about this than I do, but it would seem to me that what dooms a lot of relationships, and marriages for that matter, is time and attention. That you pay attention to what are the needs and the wants and the desires of your partner, and you donate the time that you have to try and help them or her or him, and find some sort of resolution to whatever conflict there may be. Communication would be the overarching umbrella on all of this, which it sounds like that's what you're teaching there, because if you can't listen, you can't communicate, and if you can't communicate, your relationship is adrift at sea. It sounds like that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, if you can't effectively communicate, your relationship is toast, right? And that's not only romantic relationships, that's any relationship. And it's unfortunate that we don't teach how to effectively communicate with each other when it's so important in our society. We only learn how to do it when there's a problem. When there's an issue, when there's a problem, then we want to address it. So even in my coaching and my training, with relationships, I address the top 3 reasons relationships fail, which are incompatibility, sex, and money. So yeah, I go there with those issues because you want to enter a relationship feeling healthy, whole, and complete. Your partner doesn't complete you, they complement you.
Right.
So these are the top 3 reasons. So when you heal those reasons, what happens is you're going to have a better chance of success. And effective communication is one of the things that I teach to all of my students and all of my clients.
I would guess that it's very difficult for a Democrat and a Republican to have sex in this environment. It's just wild. I mean, it may happen on a random basis. It may happen until everybody puts their cards on the table. But my guess is once the cards are on the table, the bedroom might as well have a padlock on it. Am I right on this?
Well, it depends on the people. I would say that. Well, some people, I will tell you this, ladies seem to have a stronger opinion about with the politics and how that plays in. Whereas men tend to be a little bit more on the practical side of things, right? So depending on where that leads, it can be like an iron curtain that's there. Once they hear that, it's like, whoop, everything is gone. The chemistry is gone. And so it really depends on their personality of what's going on. And I think in this current political environment, I think you're leaning more right on that end. It can be like the iron curtain with our current political environment. But then when all is said and done and things settle down and people find their new normal, then it's going to be reevaluating where it is. Because people are reacting to what's going on in real time. And then when things calm down, then their viewpoint also calms down at the same time.
Trump, Pelosi, Biden, Schumer, they've all found a common enemy. It's sex. They're all attacking sex. Doesn't matter what your political party is. They're all after it. They're just killing it. Am I right?
They're killing. Let's put it this way. They're killing what can be the connection between people, and then once you get past that connection, it's because what happens behind closed doors is nobody else's business but you and the other person that you're with, and things of that nature. And there are so many people who are so quiet about their political affiliation because of what's currently going on. So it's one of those things where they go, you know what, let's not talk politics and things of that nature because they don't want to kill the mood. And that actually is happening also with a lot of people. It's like some people, they're so in it. Other people, they're so drained by what's going on, they're not watching anything. And so they're not affected by what's happening, and they're just going about their life and things of that nature.
Stacey Murphy, certified intimacy coach and author of The Secrets to Get the Guy and Keep the Guy, and she runs the Vixen Academy. I'm intrigued by the Vixen Academy, Stacey. I've got a lot of people reacting to the Vixen Academy right now. How can people find the Vixen Academy? Because it's by the way, are you fielding teams this year, or did you have to suspend all athletic activities because of COVID?
I didn't have to suspend any activities because of COVID. None whatsoever.
You're fielding teams. That's good. How do people find the Vixen Academy?
Well, you can find me on the web at thevixenacademy.com. And I always like to tell people, especially with Vixen, what that actually means, because I kind of created it into an acronym. So especially for those ladies that are there or the men that want to meet this type of woman, a Vixen is a woman who's vivacious, she's intelligent, she's extraordinary, she's empowered, but she also knows when to be naughty as well as nice. That's what a Vixen is. That's my
kind of woman. Stacey, great stuff. You have a great rest of the week, and stay well. Thank you.
You too now.